In December, a couple of my friends and I were going to go out to share the gospel with some people, and I said, hey, let's take a moment and wait on God and just see what He has to say. He might give us some specific direction before. And they kind of said, okay, maybe God will speak, and so we waited on God, and they said, hey, we each got a picture. And so it was a married couple, and the guy got a street sign. He's like, I don't know, that seems kind of weird, a street sign. I don't know if he's going to be under a street sign or if he's got a street sign in his shirt or whatever. And then she said, I just saw the color green. And to be honest, I actually got a sense, a pizza place, kind of like a Peter Piper's or something like that. But it's so small, it's such a faint sense, I actually didn't even say anything at the time. So I just said, hey, why don't we just head to the mall? And so on the way out to the mall, we're approaching where Chuck E. Cheese is going to be on the left. We look over, and just under a street sign, waiting to cross the road, there's a guy, and you can just see under his hoodie, he's wearing a green t-shirt. He stopped and said, hey, what are you guys doing? Because he could kind of tell we were walking towards him, and initiated a conversation with us, and kind of had this smile on his face and just seemed excited to talk to us. It was clear that God was up to something. He began to share how he was having a difficult day and some things weren't going as planned and how he had gotten down that day. And he said, you guys just made my day. And we're asking where he was walking to, and back of the Pizza Ward, here we are standing across from where Chuck E. Cheese is, and he's saying, I'm actually trying to get down to Peter Piper's Pizza and I'm running late. And I said, well, why don't we drive you down there? Of course, at this point, I knew it was God because of the Pizza Word and the green shirt, and he's standing in our street sign. And so we have him get in the car, and as we get in the car, we introduce ourselves a little bit more, and he starts to unpack his story a little bit more. And he had a neck brace on. He was recently in a car accident where he should have died, and he knew that God had him here for a reason. I said, hey man, I just felt boldness come on me because I knew God, this was a God moment. I just said, I need to get together with you and I need to tell you my story. And he was so excited about that because I'd been in a car accident and changed my life. And so I wanted to share with him some of my story and how it applied to his life. And he came to church the next day, and he was so excited. I went to pick him up, and he just continued to share some of his life story and was just kept saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I looked over, and he had a grin from ear to ear, and he began to look around at all the people worshiping and jumping and their hands raised and just enjoying the presence of God. And he was just taking it in and so excited that this is going to be his experience for the rest of his life. And person after person at church came up, introduced themselves to him, and he said, wow, I've never experienced a place like this. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to stay, and this is where I want to make my home. And it's just so fun to see him touched and changed that Sunday morning by the presence of God. And he kept encouraging me that, saying, if you guys are always as open with Jesus as you were with me, it's not going to take long for us to reach the city of Waco. And it all started with this one day. And to be honest with you, I didn't have a high faith or expectancy that day. It didn't seem like any of the three of us had a huge expectancy that something big was about to happen. You never know what God wants to do. Jesus said, my Father is always at work. And giving him that little moment of space helped us tap into what the Father was doing that day in his life. So take every moment that God's speaking, because it might be the doorway to a handful of lives being transformed.